Hello, my name is Jordan Wheat. My group has chosen to discuss the topic of labor relations and how it relates to recent events regarding unionization efforts throughout a variety of industries. We have chosen to discuss events taking place at Starbucks Coffee Company, California State University, in Major League Baseball, and in the Writers Guild of America in Hollywood. In order to understand these events, one must first understand what the terms labor relations and unionization mean. According to the textbook, labor relations refers to the process of dealing with employees who are represented by a union. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, a labor union is a group of two or more employees who join together to advance common interests, such as wages, benefits, schedules, and other employment terms and conditions. In the news, Starbucks Coffee Company has made quite a name for itself concerning unionization efforts from workers all across the United States. Many question why workers are pushing for unions, and for most workers, it seems this push sparked their interest due to the COVID-19 pandemic, where workers felt they were putting their lives at risk for little to no benefits from the company. The first Starbucks store to unionize was located in Buffalo, New York. It officially became unionized in late 2021 and caused a snowball effect amongst other Starbucks stores in the U.S. The Starbucks Workers United website lists a variety of demands workers are pushing for. Some of these include new guidelines regarding full-time status and benefits, guaranteed schedules and consistent hours, livable wages, improved dress code regulations and inclusive apron sizes, and protections from sexual harassment, customer harassment, and harassment from upper management. However, this list is only the tip of the iceberg for the list of demands workers have created. Some may argue that a few of these demands are asking for too much, but after experiencing certain benefits that were later taken away, workers feel that these demands are affordable to the company who is choosing to offer less benefits in favor of corporate greed. An example of this was the disaster pay offered in 2020, which was an increase in wages Starbucks offered for those who chose to work during the pandemic. While unions give workers a voice to increase their power, there are also laws set in place that place a limit on these powers. One of these laws is the Labor Management Relations Act, which was passed in 1947 to limit union power. It is also known as the Taft-Hartley Act. Despite laws such as this existing, many workers are finding that the benefits of their new unions far outweigh their previous work conditions and lack of power.
For our topic of unionization, I chose a recent article that was published in the Los Angeles Times titled, "Campus Jobs Are a Lifeline for These CSU Students, and Here's Why They Want to Unionize." This article goes into detail of the growing movement among California State University students who are advocating for unionization in their on-campus jobs. The article discusses an important role that campus jobs plays in the lives of many CSU students. For these students, these employment opportunities on campus aren't just a way to earn money, but also help them cover their tuition fees, their living expenses, and other essential needs that come along with being a student. Many students rely on these jobs to make ends meet and probably would not be able to afford their schooling without these on-campus jobs. While these jobs provide financial stability for these students, many of the students are facing problems in the workplace, and this has led to the students' movement to unionize. One of the main issues that the students are facing is the rate at which they're being paid for their work. Many of the CSU students are being paid below minimum wage. Cameron Macedino, a student at CSU, claims that while he works nearly 40 hours or more per week for the school's radio station, which is called Titan Radio, he is only permitted by the school to be paid for 20 hours of work per week. This leaves his remaining hours to be on a volunteer basis, meaning he does not get paid for the other 20 hours in that week. Unionization would empower these students to negotiate for higher wages and better compensation and recognize the value that they bring to their campus. In addition, the article reveals that many students are hired on a semester-to-semester basis, leaving many students uncertain on the stability of their jobs. Unionizing may be able to provide these students with a collective voice and ability to negotiate for better job security and not to be hired on a semester-by-semester basis, and provide fair treatment for these students. Additionally, this article discusses the experience of student workers who have faced issues in the workplace, such as harassment, discrimination, and lack of access to benefits such as healthcare. Unionization would offer these individuals a platform to address these issues collectively, ensuring that their concerns are heard and appropriate measures are taken to create a safer and more inclusive work environment for the students. The article also discusses potential impact of unionization at CSU and the effect that it would have for other college campuses across the country. By organizing and forming unions, student workers would hopefully set a precedent for other campuses and other institutions nationwide, leading to improved conditions for student workers across the nation.
Greetings, my name is Malia Howell, and I will dive further into the push for unionization for minor league players. Having played for more than 100 years without a formal union, the players of minor league baseball lack formal representation and thus cannot collectively bargain over wages or working conditions. In recent years, minor league players and advocacy groups have become more vocal about the players' struggles and have gotten the attention of the U.S. Congress. According to AP News, the average major league salary is above $4 million, but players with minor league contracts earn as little as $400 a week during the 6-month season, with many having to work second jobs to make ends meet. The Major League Baseball Player Association launched the unionization drive on August 28, 2022, and told Major League Baseball that following Tuesday it had obtained signed authorization cards from 5,000 to 6,500 players with minor league contract, which exceeds the 50% threshold required to show a majority interest in unionization. After the card check agreement and the validation by an arbitrator, the Major League Baseball voluntarily recognized minor league players' unionization with Major League Baseball Player Association. The union now can formalize its player leadership group. Minor league players' chief focus as they build a collective bargaining agreement from scratch is expected to be salaries. Other issues such as train facilities at minor league stadiums, meals distributed by teams, and travel conditions could prove sizable during talks. The ability to write an entirely new agreement offers plenty of leeway for the parties to signify the most important things to them. The player leaders hope they can negotiate that first collective bargaining agreement over the next few months. That will mean a chance to materially improve conditions for themselves right now, which is exciting for both them and for the game, they say. The overall quality of baseball has to go up, says minor league player Tom Hackamere, because crazy concept, if they're giving the players the freedom to just care about being better at baseball and not having to worry about surviving until the next month, that can only be good for the quality of the player that's going to be produced. The player involved still have the same dreams of moving up to the majors, but they're proud to have left a mark on the minors.
Hey, my name is Jacob Strime. I'll be discussing the current events relating to the union, the Writers Guild, also known as the WGA. Before discussing the current events surrounding the news of the union, I want to give a brief overview of it. The Writers Guild of America is composed of two labor unions, the WGA of the East and the WGA of the West. It was founded in 1954. It represents writers for online media, movies, radio, and television. They primarily deal with who is credited for writings, how the credits are listed in like TV shows or at the end of movies, giving annual awards for the recognition of brilliance within the field, script registration, among other things. This year, on May 2nd, 2023, writers began to go on strike, planting themselves in front of major studios like Amazon and Netflix. During the 6 weeks leading up to the strikes, writers attempted to negotiate with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, who represent large studios and production companies within Hollywood. The main basis for the strike was for fair wages. According to the WGA, writers' pay has decreased by 23% in the past decade once inflation is factored in. Writers are asking for job evaluations for tasks performed for studios. Job evaluations, as defined in Chapter 8, is the attempt to assess the worth of each job relative to other jobs. Those in the union feel as if they aren't compensated fairly enough for the tasks they are given and the timelines given to them. In today's world, streaming services are more prominent than ever before. Due to services like Netflix, it makes it more difficult for writers to find well-paying and long-term jobs. Streaming services promote binge watching by releasing shows with full seasons at a time. Because of this, those in the WGA feel as if studios and production companies have failed to invest in human capital by offering writers low wages and long hours. Human capital is described in Chapter 8 as the organization's investment in attracting, retaining, and motivating an effective workforce. Due to the quick turnaround for scripts, companies have been hiring writers to collaborate in a different way. Mini rooms are essentially a group of writers that work with the producers as they map out major plots and run down the show to a script that can be easily produced. Because of the rapid completion, writers can't get health insurance and other benefits through production studios and are forced to jump between jobs and must begin searching before their current job is even over. Currently, the strike of the WGA is still active, and negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers are still underway. The Writers Guild of America represents over 20,000 writers and safeguards the creative rights. It ensures writers are treated fairly and remain hopeful for their futures.
To recap, this presentation discussed labor relations and unionization. Labor relations is the process of dealing with employees who are represented by a union, and a labor union is a group of two or more employees who join together to advance common interests such as wages, benefits, schedules, and other employment terms and conditions. These can relate to a variety of industries such as the ones discussed today, including Starbucks Coffee Company, Major League Baseball, California State University, and the Writers Guild of America. Unionization is a topic that's going to continue to be relevant for many years to come. The following slide contains a list of all the sources used for this presentation.